Hi, I'm Elijah Svendsen, and I'm from the Kids from Cameron 4-H Club. In December of 1942, the SS Ceramic was on its way from England to Australia. It carried about 500 passengers, including women, children, military personnel, and other civilians on official business. On December 7th, at 12:01 a.m., the Ceramic was 400 miles west of the Azores Islands when it was suddenly attacked and sunk by U-515, a U-boat in the German Navy. There was only one survivor. The sinking of the SS Ceramic was one of many sinkings of Allied vessels during World War II. In 1942, Germany had virtually complete control over the Atlantic Ocean. Their U-boats were wreaking havoc on Allied shipping. Even when Allied ships were in the convoy system, with escorts guarding against U-boats, there still were monumental losses on the Allied side. To combat these losses, the United States sent special hunter-killer task groups to find and destroy the U-boats. Even these were not 100% effective. U-boats were stealthy hunters, mainly working alone, but sometimes working with other U-boats. They would submerge, stalking their prey until they were in range. Then they would fire their torpedoes to sink the unsuspecting vessel. One reason why there were so many of these successful attacks on Allied ships is because the German armed forces had their own secret language called the Enigma Code. This nearly impenetrable code was used to give orders and send messages in all branches of the German armed forces throughout World War II. It was so impenetrable that it was only broken a few times, by Poland and by Britain in the early years of the war, and then later by the United States. The first two of these attempts were unsuccessful because the Germans found out and changed the code. The Allies had to find a way to stop this terrible threat. On May 15, 1944, American Task Group 22.3, commanded by Daniel Vincent Gallery, left the U.S. from Norfolk, Virginia. The task group had one aircraft carrier, the USS Guadalcanal, captained by Gallery, and 4 escort destroyers, the USS Pillsbury, USS Pope, USS Chatelaine, and USS Flattery. They were on a very specific mission to, if possible, find and capture an intact U-boat. They believed that if they did this, they could extract a host of valuable information from the U-boat. After a couple of weeks of searching, Task Group 22.3 made sound contact with the U-boat U-505. It was keeping a pretty low profile, staying submerged and not sending any messages. Task Group 22.3 followed U-505's progress for a few days until they lost the signal. They were running low on fuel and were about to give up when suddenly, on June 4th, they picked the signal up again. It was around 11 o'clock in the morning when their radar made possible sound contact. They thought it could be the submerged U-boat. Captain Gallery ordered 2 planes up to mark the spot where the sub was with machine gun fire. He then ordered the other ships in the task group to use smaller ammunition when the sub surfaced to keep it intact. The U-505 surfaced minutes later. The escaping crew was picked up by the task group. Captain Gallery then ordered the boarding parties away to make sure that the Germans had not scuttled U-505. They boarded it and were able to close a hatch that was flooding the U-boat with water. Then they secured U-505 to the Guadalcanal and went back to their ships. In order to get U-505 safely into Allied hands, Task Group 22.3 was ordered to tow it to Bermuda. They had to do it in complete secrecy because if the Germans found out, they could change the code again and all their hard work would be for nothing. They made the 2,500-mile trip in only 15 days and with no problems from the Germans. When they arrived, U.S. intelligence worked to break the Enigma code using the information found on the ship. When they did, they were able to significantly cut down on losses from U-boats throughout the rest of the war. Without the breaking of the Enigma Code, there would have been a different outcome to the Second Battle of the Atlantic. The incredible bravery of Task Group 22.3 prevented the loss of hundreds of Allied soldiers and changed history forever.